Hello, everyone. I'm Ronan Unchained, and welcome to the Syndicate, a Star Wars podcast. I'm your host, and I'm joined again by new dear friend of mine, Busy Braun. Busy, thanks for joining me,
What's
man.
up? What's up? I love that introduction, the Syndicate. Yeah, that's such a fire name, bro. I don't. Yeah, it's awesome.
If copyrights weren't a thing, and I knew how to do Photoshop one like all the way, the things I could do as an intro and whatnot. Oh, but we are here, folks, to talk about The Mandalorian, Season
Yes,
3,
sir.
Episode 5, The Pirate.
hmm
This is spoiler talk. This is going to be coming out day after the episodes drop. So people have had 24 hours to spend 30 minutes of their life of enjoying pure entertainment art. This episode, I'd said it magnified deeper into what the story's about,
Okay.
and it amplified the dynamics between all our characters. The dynamics between these characters are completely different from season one and completely different from season two. And
hmm
something as simple as Grief Karga saying, "No, we have to watch out for the people of this town. I won't leave them behind."
hmm
I said in my reaction, I'm like, that line felt earned. Why? Because for 3 seasons I've been visiting this city and seeing how these people have evolved from just like a bootleg town to now it's a civilized nation, if you will. And there's a vacuum, power vacuum, if you will, trying to get it. But Busy, what did you think when this episode ended?
Whew, there was a lot on my mind because there was just so much that happened. Whether it was seeing a certain cameo
Which
or
we're gonna
just
talk about it, but
yeah,
yes.
yeah, and the interactions between the armorer and Bo-Katan. There was just a lot to be excited for, and then on top of that, getting more of the New Republic made me like want to. It made me excited but sad because I was like, that New Republic show could have been something special,
Yeah.
and it's like to have this character who we've seen on multiple occasions, just continuously just make his way back in it. Is It's been fun,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure he was also casted as Uncle Iroh for the live action
Yes.
Netflix show, which is
I've
something that's gonna be fun to
I've heard
react
that
to.
as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Captain
that's
Carson
gonna be fun.
Tavo, yeah.
I feel like he just carries that energy too. Like so, I think it's gonna be fun to watch. But yeah. I mean, I don't know. There was just a lot about this episode, a lot to be excited about, and I feel like the last two episodes there have been some things to look forward to, but there haven't been as much moments in one singular episode to get me like super stoked. Like episode 3, like taking place on Coruscant. That was fun, but I didn't really care too much about what was happening in the moment, but more of what it was setting up. Whereas in this episode, everything that was happening had my interest. Everything was just so dope. It just I was so ready for more, and I don't know. I think this might have been my favorite episode of the season. But
I would agree with that. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yeah, it
up
was it
there.
was it was great. It was great.
The implications of that one episode, where we see where Bo and Din and Grogu head out, and then we spend the time with Dr. Pershing and Eli Kane. And
Yeah.
I dug that episode. Yes, granted that whole the big chunk of in the middle, the pacing is there and it's not for everybody, but I appreciate it because I'm like, I think this is the most time we're gonna spend with the imperial or former imperial sides
hmm
in a long form side. Like that chunk should tell you everything you need to know about Elia
Yeah.
and how she thinks and all that stuff, and how Dr. Percy thinks and whatnot, and how much there is those that
And
are
I think that was
glad.
the only thing that I really was looking like that I enjoyed, just seeing kind of how they're dealing with things, with the aftermath, because it's
Yes.
like with Star Wars, we deal with a lot of like how Jedi kind of dealt with things after Order 66. But to see how stormtroopers kind of dealt with things after the
Mhm.
Empire felt is just a whole different, ballpark, but it's so cool to see it from that point of view. So it was interesting, but I don't know if it was the way they handled it or whatever they were
Pacing.
doing, but it just didn't have me, fully. Like I
Right.
wanted to be more invested than I actually was. But like I said, I think what it's setting up is going to be pretty exciting
Yes.
considering now that we know that Moff Gideon is on the loose, and we do know that we're gonna get him in season 3. Like that's for sure happening, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out.
Something, it's so fascinating because the gentleman who played Captain Carson Table, Paul Sun-Hyung Lee, um, that dude, well done. I think to me he was the highlight, but it was him and Bo were the highlights of for me of this episode.
Okay.
Um, he carried this storyline that I had been following from episode 1 about like these events. They're not a coincidence, that they're occurring a lot, and I was just like, if Rangers is being shelved, please don't lose that storyline, because that storyline, it adds weight to the samurai western adventure that we're getting with Mando and Grogu. It adds weight to the background, and it adds
Yeah.
way more weight to what happens in episode 7 and onwards. Those 30 years gap, that to me, this season and that episode with Elia Kane and Dr. Pershing adds weight to everybody saying, why is there a first order now? What happened after the war? And I just want to give Paul a shout out because he did a tremendous job of someone being like, listen, after he was said, I got to go help out Grief Karga, who's being hunted down by these pirates, um, goes to New Republic and they say, we'll look into it. That like it's a different now. We have a lot to handle. To an extent, I can understand their perspective of like, there's a lot to handle. Where do we start? But also, it's like he's close by and he's ready to act.
No, yeah.
And he secretly he gets it to dinner. Like, listen, I can't do anything about it, but
No,
just to
yeah.
let you know, like,
And
I'm
it's
like,
like
and
he's not breaking any rules by doing. He's like, I'm just letting you know your friend, needs some help. That's all I'm doing. So I mean,
exactly,
he gave him the best heads up that he could possibly give. And I love that Din also mentions their previous encounters.
mm-hmm.
Like what we have, what's his name? The Vizsla guy. What I
Paz
forgot his
Vizsla.
name. Yeah, okay. He pulls up and he's like, yeah, what do you say? We should kill you where you stand or something
Let's
like
just
that.
kill him. Let's just kill him.
Yeah,
We won't have to move the covert and whatnot.
and
They call him
and
Blue
Din
Boy and whatnot. Oh,
Yeah, and Din was like, he gave me a break before, so we're gonna do the same for him. It was just, I don't know. I did enjoy their previous encounters, and him being front and center of the whole, I guess, the face of the New Republic right now is honestly really cool to see. Because I mean, if we
yeah.
can't have Cara Dune in the picture, it's cool that they have someone else that we are familiar with step up. And I'm not gonna lie, like I half expected to have a moment where it was what is it called when we were at that new Republic bar. I thought we were gonna end up introducing or recasting. I thought they were gonna have like some fake Cara or some like
Yeah, some
recasted
other actress.
Cara
Yeah,
Dune pop up,
it.
and I had it in my head. I'm like, wait a second, like wait a second, and
I think
I don't care if they did that. That'd be cool. I wouldn't really mind it. I think the idea of her character was pretty cool. So I mean, to
I
see
really
more of
like the
her would have
character.
been, yeah, it would have been awesome. But I mean,
Yeah,
I understand what they're doing, but still, I mean, it's still cool that we have another face of the New
they're playing
Republic.
it. They're playing it smart. Where it's like they're not bringing back, not reintroducing. They're just leaving it out on the open and being like, she's out there. But right now,
Yeah,
the focus is on this now.
yeah.
And I love that you brought up that scene, because that scene felt like something out of like a Vietnam movie, like Full Metal Jacket, where you
Bro,
see,
I saw someone mention that it gave him MASH vibes. I don't know if you're familiar with
yes,
MASH,
Mash.
but like
Oh,
I
I
haven't
love
seen.
that
I've seen a
show.
little bit of MASH from like watching my dad when I was younger. But other than that, like I mean, I was trying to understand what they were saying, but it was really
Oh
cool
yeah.
to see people comparing it to other things that they are familiar with.
Well, here's a cool comparison. And Mr. Filoni, if I have it wrong, please correct me. Filoni's character in these shows has been
Was it?
Trapper Wolf.
He was
There's a
there
character. There's yeah, and he was there. There's a
with Deborah
character.
Chow.
Yes, and Rick from Oiwa.
Okay.
There's a character in MASH called Trapper McIntyre, who's one of the main
Oh,
characters of the
you think
first.
that's who he's inspired off of?
I figured. I think they took that name from MASH, and they put Trapper, okay, from MASH, and then
That
Wolf
kind of
because
checks out. I mean,
yeah.
that's actually pretty cool. I would have never caught that. I've never really seen MASH. I don't know enough to like know the characters like that. And I was honestly thinking of doing that as my next watch. But now that we're hearing some comparisons to such a fun
Phenomenal.
moment. When they zoomed in, I mean, the music. I mean, it felt like war music that we're familiar with,
Vietnam,
but
yeah.
Star Wars, like sprinkled with a hint of Star Wars,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, this is cool, like I was like, this is dope.
And so right now, Greek Karga and the city of Navarro are in peril. and
Okay.
there's action to be taken, a response.
Mm-hmm.
The New Republic turns its way, and now the Mandos are going to go and do the honorable thing. And I love that Paz Vizsla says, Din makes his plea. Bo says you can't do it alone,
Mm-hmm.
and Paz does the thing where they listen. A lot of us died for this one kid. We should ask ourselves why we're doing this. And I love it. Again, it's a very Braveheart samurai vibe where it's just like this is what we're born to do.
Mm-hmm.
And this guy, an apostate that we coded apostate, I did, redeemed himself. And after redeeming himself and in feeling that I didn't support him nor liked him or always disagree with him and here and there, he risked his life for my son. Like that's earned
He even
my
challenged him too. Like we got
yes.
that moment, and I know that was Book of Boba Fett, right?
Yes, the Return of the
Yes.
Mandalorian, yes.
So I mean, I feel like I don't know if they showed that in the recap, to
No.
clarify more than to, but I know that's important because I know there's a lot of people that didn't get through Book of Boba Fett,
Yeah.
but there are some key, moments that are really important to
Yeah.
the, Din Djarin's story.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was one thing that I really enjoyed about this episode. I'm not gonna lie, because I think in my reaction I was nervous. I thought he was gonna put his foot down and be like, we're not doing this. We've already lost a lot of people in Navarro. Why would we go and protect the person that kind of was was the reason a lot of us
Endangered
fell in the
us.
first place?
Yeah.
So I really expected him to put his foot down, and part of me was like, I don't blame you, but part of me was like, bro, like we just saved your kid, like I don't, like I would expect him if he, to I don't know. I was a little nervous, but as soon as he was like, "Well, why should we put our life on the line?" and then he says, "Oh, because we're freaking Mandalorian." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah." He knows what he's talking about. Why am I interrupting him? It was just
That
a really
that
dope moment.
that sequence of them all saying this is the way, the armor saying this is the way, and then coming
Hmm.
back to Navarro occupied by the pirates, that felt like 300. That felt like 47 Ronin. It's just a band of group outnumbered
Is it
that are
bad that
gonna
I
do the
haven't
honorable
seen
thing.
either of those movies?
It's not bad. I am a little shocked, but if you are a Mandalorian
He's
fan,
like, if you
those
want to call
are
yourself a movie reviewer, you
no,
need to
no,
see.
no, no, no,
No,
no, no. I'm not gonna say it's not.
if I'm being honest though, I'm actually gonna be stepping into a lot of movie reactions. So if those are worth it, you got to swing me some
But
suggestions because I'm looking for some movies that aren't like connected to a larger series. That way I can just do a one and done and just drop them. That way I don't have to worry about waiting like a week before getting the next movie out. So I'm looking for a bunch. So if y'all have some recommendations, go crazy.
oh,
Any
just
even if it gave you some Mandalorian vibes or things that you feel like, like I'd be down to do that
oh,
for
you,
sure.
you have no idea the list of recommendations I'm gonna give you.
Go crazy. As long as they're
um,
reaction worthy, I'm
yeah.
more than happy to watch them.
So we're the Mandalorians are agreement. Okay, we're gonna go fight the fight.
Hmm.
Um, but leading up to that, in the mash slash Vietnam sequence where they have the Y wings and the X wings, like it's a little
Yep.
like R&R area for rebellion
Yeah.
veterans, whatnot. Um, Carson gets the message, and we get somebody walking about. We get this guy.
Ah man,
We get
yo.
we get
Yo.
Seth from the Ghost Squadron.
I was so happy, dude. I was beyond excited. It was crazy.
Dude, I was apoplectic. I was it's similar, not the same, but similar to when season 2 finale, you see the X-Wing and
Yeah.
you don't see a response, but you see a droid in the back of the X-Wing. You're like, your
Hmm.
mind is making the dots. You're like, you know who that is, but you're in total denial because you're like, this is not
It's
happening.
too good to be true. That's exactly
Mhm.
like when I have my reaction for that scene in the season 2 finale.
Which you should go check out.
Yeah, of course. And but like where I was, I mean, I kind of felt like a fake fan at times because I felt like that's what people might have thought because when you see the X-Wing pull up, my first thought is like, okay, like obviously this isn't going to be Luke. Like, why would they? I'm so used to a lot of shows having the opportunity to put in a character like that or to give us such a special moment like that. But there's always like contracts or some craziness
Yeah.
involved. They're like, we don't have the usage of that character, and even though that wasn't the case here, my mind was just like, nah, that's not happening. So it wasn't until we see this man like kind of pull up with like until I was sure that we see him in the cloak and then we see the
The
black
green
glove. I'm
and the black
like,
glove. Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, yo,
I'm like, that
yo.
is.
I'm like, maybe it is him. And I was starting. That's when I went crazy.
Yeah.
But and it was kind of similar here. But I know this is a lot very different for everyone else. When we saw him, people were just thinking this is another maybe a Lasat character, another Lasat, that
Yeah.
this might be just another Lasat fighting with the New Republic,
Another species.
but
Yeah.
yeah, and we talked about this for like a couple seconds right before the stream. But in my mind, I'm like, this has to be him. Why would they have a Lasat one that is rocking the same beard? Come on, they look
Yeah.
very familiar, and wearing that gear, the New Republic gear. I mean,
Jumpsuit.
yeah,
Yeah.
it felt like it would be blue balls. Like you just
No
disrespect the
pun
slap in the
intended.
face, like come on. If it was a totally different character, like if he started talking like Kermit the Frog, and I'm like, okay, that's not him. But the voice, it was what, Steve Blum, right?
Zeb,
Yeah, it
yeah,
was,
Steve
bro.
Blum from the
So right
Ghost
when I heard
School.
it, I started going crazy. I was like, yo, okay, this has to be him. But I guess a lot of people weren't sure because it's like it's just another thing. Like, okay, maybe it's just them introducing another character, but we've only seen maybe one other Lasat, and that was Cal Kestis's master. I don't know if
Yeah.
we've had any more other than that, but I was right when right when we saw him, I'm like, okay, could it be him? And then as soon as he started talking, I'm like, that's him. And I just couldn't talk. I just
Yeah.
jaw open. I'm like, bro, what is going on? Like this
I
is cool.
I freaked the F out, and I was like, and I had to swallow and be like, okay, let me enjoy the rest of the episode, and then I'll check the
Mm-hmm.
credits.
Mm-hmm.
And then once
I didn't
the
even
show,
look at the credits, bro. That's the
oh,
thing.
I had to check because I was like, this is gonna break my heart if it's not Zeb. Why
Now I was
not?
like, it has to be him. I mean, it sounds exactly like him.
Same.
I mean, the timeline sounds about right. I mean, it's after Rebels. I mean, it has to be him.
I'm not throwing shade at WandaVision, but I thought it would have been something like with what's his name, Evan Peters, where he's like,
Oh my
it's
god, I would
Quicksilver,
have. Don't
but
do that.
it's what's his name, I forgot his name already, but it was some
Friggin'
sexual
like it was
joke.
like Dick Boner or something. Ralph Boner.
Boner, there we go.
Ralph Boner.
And I was just like, what the? So I was like, I don't want another
Ah.
sequence like that. And then I was just like, let me just take it in,
I think they're smart enough not to do that again.
and I hope.
Although it might have been fun for them to like. I think that was just their way to bring him back because they're like, oh, it'd be a fun little cameo, and we can't technically do all
Do it.
that craziness yet, so we might as well, because that might interfere with some future projects. So let's do it this way. And when they did it that way, everyone was like, nah, bro, like that's just not how we're doing things.
I just saw the name Steve Blum and nothing lieutenant, commander, nothing. He just said Zep, and I just went, "Oh my god!"
Oh man, and then can we talk about how good they made him look, like transferring him into live action, dude?
I thought it was animatronic. I thought that was somebody in a suit initially. I was just like, that looks too damn real.
Bro, that caught me off guard with how well they did.
Lighting. Yeah.
Yo, I am so excited because throughout this season we've already had so many like Rebels Easter eggs, and it's like if we ever can get a point where we get the entire crew, just live action, that how dope that would be.
Bro.
Whether it's Zeb, Ezra, Ahsoka, we know we're getting Sabine and Hera. There's just they're already giving us so much, and I can't wait for more. It's that simple.
I'm calling it right now. I don't think they should do, because I think this was mocap. I think looking at it again, I think it was mocap, which was exceptional. But if Filoni and Favreau decide to pull the trigger and bring us Hondo Onaka, Galaxy's Edge has a perfect animatronic thing. Just sculpt that suit, put somebody in that suit, and get
Hondo is so cool, but I just don't see that happening in the Ahsoka show. I feel like if the Ahsoka show does well enough, then maybe they'll be like, okay, maybe we got to do something else with these characters, And if we do something else with those characters, then it would be a perfect time to get Hondo, because I think this is where a lot of people had their expectations just like set up, all the way up here, because it's like with the Kenobi show, there's so much you can do with this character. So everyone was over here like, bro, I can't wait to see Ahsoka flashbacks with Kenobi. I can't wait to see Cal Kestis. This would be around the time, It's like everyone's coming up with all this craziness, and it's like, bro, it's 6 episodes long. It's like if they do all that, it might be a little too crazy.
Yeah.
But maybe they should have, because the way it played out now. But still, it was still it's just there's so much they can do with these characters. So I'm excited. Like if they do decide to do spin-offs,
Yeah.
hopefully it's spin-offs that we actually want, ones that we're asking for, and ones that are coming from a show that's doing well and not something that no one really asked for, which I feel like sometimes certain franchises do that, and I'm just excited. There's just so many characters that you can just do so much with, and it's just crazy. I'm impatient.
I get it.
And
And so we make our way from meeting Zeb in live action, which is now that's two. Oh no, technically three. The Ghost, Chopper, and now Zeb. But we make our way back to Navarro, and they're using a Trojan horse.
Mhm.
Dane is gonna get the N1 starfighter to get the captain's ship out of the way, and they're gonna drop in all the rest of the mantis. Which I have been waiting for that sequence from the trailer where they just
Yeah.
drop in,
Mhm.
and it's just full on SEAL team Call of Duty, just like, all right, go 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 go, scope this, scope this.
Exactly how I saw things. Like it was like they had finishers too. We saw them like swiping the knee and then like finishing them while they were on the ground. While we got Babu Freak's people like just watching the
Cheering on.
assassinations. They're like, yo, like it was so dope to see them come through again because they're in a perfect area to just hide. So I don't think they were
Yes.
like in trouble because their like little shop is so small. I don't think they would have ever noticed it like at least right away. So they had the perfect viewing spot, but it was just so cool. Even oh my god, I'm kind of like screwing up on the name of those creatures. Jabba had one. I forget the
Guess.
name. I'm not gonna. It's not gonna be right
Okay.
whatsoever.
Kowakian monkey lizards.
But I can assure you that would have not have been my guess. It's been so long. I that's not even close to what I would have said. But bro, like they've been so annoying since we've seen them in in anything. So to see them actually helping, the Mandalorians,
Yeah.
where they're like, okay, we're getting pinned down, or we might be getting into a trap, and then we got the monkey lizards, whatever the hell you call them. They're like pointing.
Yeah.
They're like, yo, over
Go
here.
there.
They're like, okay, we might be running into an ambush, and it's like, wow, they were helpful. Like that's actually
Yeah.
a fun little sequence that we just had, and it was pretty cool to see that happen.
I that sequence was so unique, and how it's their Mandalorians as a unit are strong, but they could also get pinned. And now they're also thinkers, be like, all right, how do we get our way out of this box, then pin? And I just loved it that like I could see the references from samurais or like the 300 Spartans into this episode, but they prevail. The captain, oh my gosh, I always forget his name. Oh my gosh, but the swamp thing looking dude, which I like that design. I
Yeah,
want
I always forget his name, but the dude that looks like seaweed.
Dorian
Yeah,
Sharp or something like that. I
yeah,
forgot.
that's exact Dorian Sharp or something
Dorian
like
Sharp,
that. Yeah,
yeah.
that sounds about right. Yeah,
I could be wrong. Folks, I haven't
it's
slept because I was watching and editing all this stuff the whole day.
Dorian
um,
Sharp.
but the pirates,
Gorian Shard, I think it is.
Gorian Shard, there we go.
Yeah, there it is.
The pirates go down, except for one, the one that has the big vendetta, and like he runs off. And Grief tells him, okay, the west side of the lands is the Mandalorian's property. That's
Mhm.
their terrain now. And let's be thankful for what they did. And I just love that they're just like boom.
No,
Like,
that line of dialogue that we got from Grief was oh my god, where he's like, you may not have a home planet, but you now have a
have a
home.
home.
I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god, that's beautiful, bro. And the fact that when Din was explaining like because when his motivation or his way of giving them motivation to help Navarro
Yeah.
was him saying, like I have a little patch of land there that we can turn into ours. He's like this way our kids can play in the sun,
And the
and of course
sun.
it pans
Yes.
over to Grogu, and I'm like, yo, this is fire. Like this is just such a cool little moment that they're having, and of course that's
Yeah.
right before we have the Paz Vizsla moment where he kind of speaks up. Everything about that scene was just so fun to watch. I thought they handled that pretty awesome. I think they just did a great job with that. But of course, it leading to the battle of Navarro with Grief saying what he did say. Like I don't know why. I just love that line so much. Like, you may not have a home planet, but you have a home.
Home.
And it
Yeah.
was just, this is dope. And it's like to see what they can do with it because they lived here before. So like, I'm just excited for them to rebuild it because we saw how beautiful they made Navarro. Like
Yeah.
it did not look like that when we were first introduced to this
No.
planet. So to see what could come out of this is just exciting. And on top of that, we're in a new age, as the armorer said. Bo-Katan, she is the one to bring both sides, or and I don't know, the fact that the armorer finally sees it that way is it's great development. It's awesome to see that, and it's just getting me so excited for more.
It's
I don't know.
moments like that, like the home planet. You have a home, or Carson telling Mando, "It's not your fight. I'm just letting you know about your friend." It's small moments like that I appreciate the most out of all the special effects, the cool costumes. Like moments like that, I'm like, that's why I watched that show. That is why I cared. That is why I stayed up all night trying to watch it and covered it and whatnot. And kudos to the actors to do that. But
yeah,
yes, you bring it up that the armor brings it up to Bo and tells her, remove your helmet, which I was a bit like, wait, what? What is
no,
this?
yeah, I was like, it's a
What is this
trap.
about?
It has to be a trap. She goes,
Yeah.
I was like, as soon as she takes it out, she gonna say, "You're no longer a Mandalorian." And I was like, I was waiting for some craziness, but to see her take it off, and of course, Bo was extremely hesitant about the whole situation, which just shows how far she came. Because when we were first introduced to Bo-Katan, or not us, but when Din was first introduced, that her and her group kind of had this kind of feeling of like, oh, he's one of them, like like they're like, oh, he's one of the when he was explaining that he doesn't take off his
Children of the
helmets.
Watch.
Yeah, she's one of them. It was just, I don't know, her idea of that. Obviously, she just wasn't really behind it. So to see that it's gotten to the point where she's like walking both ways, and honestly, I wouldn't have minded if we had more moments with her doing that.
Yeah.
But it still was it was so cool because honestly, when Bo and Din first came back to that little area with all the Mandalorians, I forget what the planet was called, but when she comes down to let the armorer know that Din ended up going into the mines and all that stuff, I was expecting for her to do like some protest stuff and for her to take off the helmet instantly in front of her to just
you like
kind
this?
of show,
Huh?
to just showcase her, who she is and what she believes in. But for her not to do that, I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. And that's why I was so excited for episode 3. And then I believe that that's when they ended up, or was episode 3 when they ended up having her join?
3 is at the end of the tail end of the episode where she's like, you both are redeemed now, and you can leave whenever you want to. Welcome. Da, da, da.
Yeah, so that's why, like, when they have her go back or whatever, I was so looking forward to that entire episode being about the interactions. But of course, then we ended up getting the Coruscant stuff. But then when episode 4 came around, I was so excited. I was like, okay, this is going to be really, really cool. And the fact that we're diving into it even more, because we know that's like the big picture of what the Mandalorian is. We know that their goal was to take back Mandalore. We know that they had just a whole bunch of plans, but the thing is, it's like you can't do all these big picture things when you're divided.
Yeah.
So for the armorer to realize that, again, it's just so exciting.
Which I love the dynamic, and I cannot wait till Bo talks to Din and be like, listen, I know she trusted me, but you got me here, and I have to tell you, I saw Mythosaur down there, and but here's another thing. Have you seen Rebels Busy or no?
Yeah, of course. That's how I was
Okay,
familiar with
cool.
Zeb.
Cool. So
Has there been anything else?
Well, here's the thing. Again, folks, if you haven't seen Rebels,
wait,
spoilers,
so that scene, is that 10 years prior to what's happening now?
basically, yeah. If my math is right, if
Is
I'm
it
rounding
really
it,
that long? I mean,
yeah,
that's because technically, because this is about what, 6 years after Return of the Jedi?
5 years after Return of the Jedi, and
Well, that was when season 1 took place, and I'm pretty
yeah,
sure some time has gone by between season 1 and season 3.
it's either been 10 or a little over 10 years from
10
Rebels
years. Okay,
to
yeah. All right,
So,
because okay.
folks, if you haven't seen Rebels, look away, hear this, because this is something where I feel like there's a big connection of Bo's decision and how she hasn't really said anything. Armor has been the one saying all this stuff, and she just been there like doing as she feels she's being told. But I can't wait to talk to Mando, to Din, because it must be brought up. They'll be like, listen, 10 years ago, a friend of mine entrusted me with the dark saber. She won the dark saber in combat, but she gave it to me because she felt I was the proper leader to lead us. And look what happened. I lost the saber. Our planet fell more. We were still split. And I'm wondering if she's gonna have any hesitation or just someone to talk to and be like, what do you think, Din? Like, am I supposed to do this? Because Din has a dark saber. But from what we saw of season 2, he won it in combat, but he doesn't want it.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to rule. He's like,
Well,
he
yeah,
said, I
and
kneel. He gives it to her.
but I'm hoping that we're in a position where it's like maybe she realizes things need to be different, you know?
Yeah.
And Din is just he has proven time and time again how loyal he is, how much of a good soldier he is, you know? And for him to be the leader, I don't think would be a terrible idea. But at the same time, Bo-Katan is just, you know, I do love her as a leader, but to
Yes.
see how far she has fallen within the beginning of this season makes me kind of question it a little bit. And although I think she's kind of back in that state that she was, you know, kind of maybe close to her prime, I'm still a little nervous, you know, and I think for her to say, I think you should be in charge is probably the biggest step her character can take. And it would just mean a lot, you know, going forward. The fact that she's putting all of that into Din Djarin's hand. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I would think that that's just a, a really cool moment, you know?
Or, and you know what? If Bo wants to lead, cool. I'm with it. But we do have to take into consideration her past and not just Death Watch, forget that, but just her experience of like when she was chosen to lead. And how does she feel about that? Because I still do truly think she still feels remorse over Satine, over her
Mm-hmm.
sister. I think she do still feel stuff for the Siege of Mandalore, the way how far her people and her planet fell.
Yeah.
But she found this new guy who is willing to trust her and show her it is possible that nothing is cursed, that like the mines of Mandalore, it's all there. And there's a cool moment where Paz just looks at Din, and Din gives him the look, being like, "I trust her. I
Yeah.
would trust her to lead us." And
Because
I would not blame her.
he's looking at her like without the helmet, and he's like,
Yeah,
"What the hell is going on?" Like,
yeah.
yeah,
And
like
I wouldn't be shocked if Bo's like, you know what, they want me to lead us, but I know I shouldn't be the only one doing this. If I ride a mythosaur, you wield a dark saber.
Mhm.
We both
I
lead the
really hope
people.
they don't have her riding a mythosaur this season.
That would be metal as
It would be cool to have her do it, but that's not something you gotta rush. I mean, I
yeah.
honestly think that they rushed the whole Rancor thing with Boba Fett riding the Rancor.
I
And
as cool as
honestly,
they
like,
look, I agree.
yeah, if they did the same thing with the Mythosaur, this is their second opportunity. They better
Yeah.
not mess up with this because this could be so huge. Like, this could
Yes.
be so awesome to watch. And if they rush it simply for like, you know, a cool little scene that will last us maybe, you know, like I don't know. I just don't think it's a smart idea to have that happen within this season and maybe even the next season. It's something we gotta wait for because we're almost at the end of the show, and the fact that no one else has seen it, bro. I don't know. I don't know. I have a lot of questions, but I think we could wait a little bit on that.
And speaking of waiting, the show ends like she's gonna go off, unite our people,
Mm-hmm.
and she's gonna walk both ways without her helmet off, or with her helmet off. But it cuts to Carson investigating an Imperial shuttle decimated and left out in the space. And I was like, it's Gideon's ship. His body's not there. And I just kept yelling, Carson, get out of there. It's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
Someone wants you to watch this, to investigate this, to lure you in. They're gonna kill you. But he finds this Beskar laying around. And
Yep.
it's implying like, did
That's
Mandalorian.
that's a little nerve. I got me a little nervous because I don't want to come up with all these crazy theories in my head, but I am so interested in what's going on there.
I have theories about like, is this the armor's work? Is this Cosca Reeves and Axe Wolves from season 2 that didn't show up in this season? Like, what is happening? Or if this is this Gideon or Thrawn messing with the New Republic and throwing them a bone to be like
Yeah,
led astray?
did we see Cosca Reeves have a falling out with
What
Um,
she we didn't see the falling off. We just know that she was in season 2 and followed Bo, and then she
because we
hasn't been
know
in.
I'm pretty sure they mentioned that the other guy that was there when they introduced the Night Owls. It was what's his name? I
Axe
forgot his
Woves, I
name.
believe.
Yeah, but he was the one I think that had the falling out. I didn't think that Sasha Banks over here had I wasn't sure if they were still cool or not. But
Possibly because she
I remember
appeared.
when the season 2 trailers dropped, everyone's like, Sabine, was that Sabine? It's like,
Yeah,
no.
she appeared in the finale. He didn't, so
Yeah,
that could be a good point, and that could be the case. That's what I love about that ending. I'm like, this is either a ploy or this is a setup, and it rocks the boat of all those small moments between characters that we got from this episode. It's like rocking the boat. Like, okay, who do we trust now? And is the because to me the armor felt a little bit seductive, being like all of us have to do this together,
yeah.
and I'm telling you, you should lead us. So I'm like, I'm praying it's not the armorer because I love the armor. I don't want it to be a bad guy. I'm like, please don't do that. Again, this will not shock me if it's the Empire messing about because Elia Kane saw that Carson is on their backs now. That she realized that like he knows what we're up to. And I wouldn't be surprised if word got out and be like, yo, we have to set something up because he's in cahoots with Mandalorians. And besides the rebellion, I could argue that Mandalorians united could give the Empire a run for their money. United, not divided, but united could give the Empire a run for the money. So this is them just being like, all right, here's a little thing to rock the boat.
Yeah. That okay, yeah.
Oh my gosh, folks, look at that.
Look at that
Just look at
beautiful
my
looking
face.
family.
Look at our faces. You'd be like, oh my gosh, this episode was metal as hell.
It was so good, man. It was so
Peter
good.
Ramsey, folks, into the
I
Spider
heard
Verse.
someone actually I'm totally okay with people saying that they don't like the same episodes I do. And I really love when people give actual reasons. And somebody in my comment section said that they weren't a fan of this episode. They honestly thought it was. I think they said it was like one of the worst episodes or whatever. But they actually provided some decent arguments and nothing that I agree with. But again, it's just really cool to hear people actually be civil about their things. So it is interesting. So do you rank it up there as your top 5 episodes of the show, or do you kind of see it not being that great either?
I think it's great because
I think it's my favorite episode of the season for sure.
I think it's up there just because to me episodes 2 and 4 were phenomenal. I dug what 3 did. 1 I liked it. I enjoyed it. I liked the feeling of us back. But those episodes between it was just Din, Bo, and Grogu adventure. I love that vibe because now she's sort of a mother figure to Grogu now, and it's like, is that gonna?
Already, you would give her that title already?
I would give her that title just because the way because that episode 2 was so beautiful. Her interactions with Grogu and her little moments being like, "Don't worry, my dad was the same way. He's just proud of you," and tells him, "Go easy on the kid because I know what you could do." Stuff like that. Again, maybe that thing is not happening for these characters.
Mm-hmm.
I still would like Din to go back to Omera, the widow from season 1.
Oh my
But
god, I really really love that. I can't hold out hope for that anymore.
I am not gonna not support Bo and Din.
Speaking of that episode, though, I mean, no, and again, I get what you're saying. I don't know if I'd want to see them together. Honestly, I don't think that's not something I really care for. But yeah, with the that episode that you did bring up, Bryce Dallas Howard directed that, and she's
Mm-hmm.
going to be directing the next episode.
Is
So
she?
yeah, so I'm really looking forward to seeing how that plays out because she has been phenomenal. Like, bro, like what we
3
have
for 2 for
seen,
me. Yep.
bro. And she directed an episode in Book of Boba Fett
3
as
for
well.
3. Yes, my
What
bad. Yes,
episode was that again?
she directed the Return of the Mandalorian.
Was it really okay? Then
Yep.
that's what people consider the only good episode of that show. Where me, I enjoyed the show, but I mean, a lot of people were like, "Yo, that's the episode," and it's like, I get what they're coming from. Bro, Boba Fett is such a cool character. Oh man,
Cool
I
character.
cool
Show was a
character.
little
I
mixed
said
for me.
that. I said that. I said
Exactly.
that.
I know.
You
I know.
know? But like, nah, like bro. I'm assuming we're gonna get Boba Fett again in this season, right? It makes sense, but it'd be cool.
It would make sense to me.
Yeah. You
Just
haven't
play it out
seen
well.
you're not ahead, right?
I'm not ahead, no.
All right, yeah.
But
So
I
that's
I
not funny
am
because usually like with like other shows, you're just like I'm
I'm
like, oh,
ahead.
maybe we'll see it again. And you're like,
So
like you're not allowed to say. So it's
all
fun
I'll
that we're
say is
actually on the same page now.
yes, we're on the same page. But all I say is this: that like, folks, if you're watching this, that a video might come out a few days from now involving the Mandalorian.
Ooh.
Um, yeah, that's all I can say because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Oh, you're the recast for Han Solo or Cara Dune. That's
No,
actually
no,
really
no, no,
cool.
no, no, no,
No,
no,
no.
no, no. It's something else. It's something else, but I don't know what's gonna happen around that time. But yes, we're on the same page.
Secrecy. Ooh, you sound like vampire.
No, I don't know. Um, yeah, man.
But yeah, I mean, what else is there to talk about, dude? We got
I
a lot, man.
the music. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I could have swore I heard a little bit of the First Order theme when Carson leaves the office, and it he leaves the office.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
I'm telling you, something is happening, and by the time you realize it's gonna be too late. I could have swore I
That was
heard
such a again another fire line.
First
Yeah.
Order theme. The actor who plays Lieutenant Tubb, or I forgot his name, Plunk, whatever his name is, but the actor who told them we're filled,
Yeah.
phenomenal actor who
Oh,
I've been a
I've seen
fan
him in
of.
a lot, so it was cool to see another familiar face, honestly.
And I could have swore, I could be wrong. Matt Wood at Lucasfilm, you tell me. I could have sworn I heard a sound effect of Indiana Jones's whip when one of the Mandalorians from Team One, when they land in Navarro, they grabs one of the pirates. I could have heard the Indiana Jones whip.
I didn't hear that.
I could be crazy. I don't know, but I'll leave it up to the internet. Be like, am I crazy or not?
One of my
Um,
favorite moments of this episode too, we're speaking about music, was when I always forget his name. The New Republic soldier. What's his name?
Carson Tava
Tavo. Okay, so when
or
he
Tavo,
is,
I think.
yeah, when he's leaving to go, when he's getting off the planet, after giving the warning to Din, we hear the music that I don't know. I mean, it's like the Resistance music, or we've heard it with the Resistance. We've heard it with like the rebellion, but it's just hearing that music. I don't know what it is about that theme that I just love so much. You know what I'm
Yeah,
referring to?
yeah.
Because I know we heard that in um what is it called? The first movie of the new trilogy. Why am
Force
I'm choked?
Awakens,
Force Awakens. I don't know
right?
why I
The
was
March of the
choking.
Resistance. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know why I was choking on the name so hard. But
it's
yeah,
okay.
that scene where they kind of come out of nowhere and they save
Bum,
Han
bum,
and
bum,
all
bum,
them.
bum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that I don't know what it was, but that theme is just so good to me. And
yeah.
I honestly think that movie is one of my favorite movies of the trilogy.
It's
But
mine. Yeah.
yeah, so it's just I don't know. I that hearing that little snippet, in this episode was again a really cool moment because I just love that theme so much, and the way they handled it to kind of just highlight how much of a good soul, that guy is. I mean, it's
Carson
just,
has. Yeah.
bro, I am just so looking forward to seeing more of his character. Like, bro,
Yes.
again, like the fact that he probably could have been a main character in the New Republic just hurts my heart.
Yeah.
Rangers of the New Republic, bro. It
Yeah.
just, I don't know. It would have been cool to see, but it is what it is.
I didn't see that coming. What I would have seen coming is Hera or Sabine. I could have seen that. Zeb was the one. I'm like, whoa, that felt like
Yeah, I was caught off guard with that. Like, out of all of the characters in that cast, I don't know. I feel like that would have been the weirdest one to me. Even though it makes sense for him to still be fighting the good
yeah.
fight, but
But I want to
man.
see Callus. Where's
Yo,
Callus?
yeah, yo, you know how many people apparently ship Callus and I didn't know that was a thing until I was looking through the comments today,
Yeah.
and somebody was like, "Yeah, Callus is probably in the background getting him drinks." I was like, "What? So what are we talking
Because they
about?"
have an arc. They have a
I
huge
don't
arc in
remember it
Rebels.
being romantic like that.
I didn't see.
But
I don't remember being romantic, but
I'm
I
like,
know
but
there
just
was a
hearing
friendship
fans
there.
talking about it, I'm like, "Whoa, where have I been?" I'm like, I
Yeah.
gotta rewatch it if because I'm trying to understand what you guys felt. But
Busy. Thanks, man, for joining.
of course,
Where can people find you?
uh, Busy Brun everywhere. I mean, yeah, TikTok, YouTube, yeah, everywhere. It's that simple.
Beautiful. Folks, I'm gonna put his reaction link in the description. Go check it out. Um, I don't know what's gonna happen in these next 3 weeks, and I don't know what's gonna be told to us at Celebration concerning the Mandalorian, if anything.
Bro, I'm
Um,
so jealous of you that you get to go.
I know. I'm somehow we're gonna make something work so I can talk to Busy and the rest of our friends
Oh,
from
that'd be so
London.
fire.
We
You
can
gotta
do
give me
everything.
those. You gotta give me the exclusives that they're not dropping. You know, you gotta be like, bro, they showed the first pictures of Ezra, but I can't talk about it or something like that.
I don't know. But folks, thank you so much. If you bothered checking out this conversation, this video, subscribe to the channel. All I'll say is just view and share the enthusiasm that I share. But other than that, this is the way.